SMART24, driving business.
All right, we'll be back from that break and let's continue with more business today. Now, following up on more of the reports making headlines into the world of business, the government and the private sector each have a part to play in Uganda's economic development. But with more than 200 business organizations, Uganda's private sector is aware of its potential contributions. Yet there is a great deal of mistrust between the public and the private sectors. But as much as performance is important in the private sector, the same cannot be reflected in the public sector. Bronia Katusime reports.
Over the past 3 decades, Uganda has followed an approach to economic management and policy that is headed by the private sector. As a result, the private sector is now in the forefront of the nation's growth and development. The public sector's responsibility in this situation is to provide an enabling environment through sound policy, ongoing regulatory reforms, and well-developed infrastructure.
Service in that area. If you look at it, for instance, the roadside, the infrastructure, roads, the investments that are being made by government roads are pleasing, I should say. They are not the level where we want them to be, but there is progress as far as government is concerned. Now, much as government is doing and helping a lot in trying to improve its service delivery and performance, the reason why there are those gaps that are still not covered is because of the nature of government. First of all, government runs a bureaucracy system. You know, government is more interested in the policies, processes than the results of these things. So if you are looking for services from government, and somebody says that, but for me I did my part, I moved your request or your paper from desk A to desk B. They have done their job, but you have not got the services. So government services and government work is mainly bureaucracy. I think that is the reason why you might have a bit of a challenge in terms of service delivery. But if you compare with the private sector is about results.
The private sector has advanced quicker than the public sector because the private sector values quality over quantity and fosters outcomes. The public sector is plagued with reservations, such as those for minorities, women, and people with disabilities, among others. This makes it impossible to achieve results. It is utterly neglected, and as a result, qualified youths remain unemployed due to the ideology of years and years of experience required.
To ensure that when the public sector drafts regulations or policies, they should make sure that the consumer benefits from it. But in most cases, what happens is that we in the public sector, when we come out with some of these regulations, we leave them on file. We do not go an extra mile to disseminate this information.
As a result of the numerous benefits provided by public sector employers to their staff, this gives confidence that their jobs are secure, thus the competition for them. However, even if you work for years in the private sector, you might still lose your job at any point without any refund. They both contribute significantly to the development by generating jobs, ensuring families and individuals have a stable source of income, introducing fresh cutting-edge products to the market, and most crucially, boosting overall income. Both the private and public sector are good at their places. Once the drawbacks are worked upon or removed, they will surely prove good for the economy. Bronia Katsime, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
All right, away from that, now let's look at labor export business performance. As utilizing the available labor resources through labor export is becoming a practical strategy on reducing the employment gap and at the same time boosting the economy. Numerous migrant workers reportedly have positions that offer a proper supervision and training. This and more with Bronia Katsime.
The business of exporting labor involves sending employees abroad through registered and approved organizations. High foreign exchange reserves, a favorable balance of payments, education, and small-scale businesses run by families receiving remittances are all well-known advantages of labor export strategies. Through the export labor companies, taxes paid by these entities has created jobs for those at home as well as those who live abroad.
The statistics of the people we externalize, I would say we have played our part, because our job is to facilitate ideally what the government would be doing for its own nationals. It's supposed to provide jobs for the whoever it produces or for those that are in the employable group. But for us, what we've done is for those that have not been able to be absorbed within this country, we've played the part of sourcing, of trying to get them abroad, to work abroad. And basing on the statistics, for example, of last year alone, we externalized over 89,000 Ugandans.
In 2021, there were 2,706 migrant laborers deployed in January, followed by 5,256 in February, 8,666 in March, 11,114 in April, 3,706 in May, 8,830 in June, 7,566 in July, 8,148 in August, 4,704 in September, 6,808 in October, 10,593 in November, and 10,359 in December, totaling 88,456 migrants, 77,606 of whom were female.
When you look at the current employment in the country, where someone is earning at least 500,000, it's very difficult really to measure it with labor export, where we are taking people on a daily basis and people are earning more than 1 million. We need to address the issues of the push factors, why people are moving outside. If you see someone who is, a single mother who could not even think of getting an employment anywhere, P7 dropout or P5, getting on a plane, and at the end of the day is earning over 1 million, you can't easily stop it. So government should address the nitty-gritties that are involved in addressing the issues of employment.
When the government steps in and addresses the issue of persons being exported illegally, such as by incorporating destinations, educating firms about internal procedures, and monitoring, exporter firms may be able to perform better. In January 2022, there were 10,184 cleared migrant workers, followed by 6,213 in February, 4,672 in March, 9,826 in April, 9,512 in May, and 8,309 in June.
When it comes to monitoring abroad, we have structures enabled by the government of Uganda. That first of all, we have a company to company that we work with via an agreement, and also the mission is off there, the embassy. So normally when we externalize these people, we ensure first and foremost that their contracts are well interpreted and understood by that party, or the girl or the housemaid who is going to work. Secondly, that where they are working, we have representatives who are Ugandans in those offices that can easily speak the language they understand. Sometimes it's a question of language barriers. Someone could be having a problem, but their partner or employers, they don't understand the issue. So when those issues are raised in those particular offices, we have Ugandan supervisors representing us.
Accredited specific training centers, and as we speak now, there are about 40 training centers whose job is specifically to train migrant workers. So they have the 14 days which I talked about, where they undergo this training, and in that they have a specific curriculum that has been developed by the Ministry of Gender with the help of IOM, International Organization for Migration, to be able to equip these intending migrant workers with specific knowledge that they would need when the other side. And part of that includes what we call culture. Culture is where they understand, or where they're taken through what they will find in the destination country. For example, the Arab world, how do they dress up? How do they walk? How do they, that's that angle. Then the other is financial literacy, where they're taken through how to manage their money, because you understand most of the people we externalize have been earning about 100 or 150, and or even some less than that. And when they externalize the other side, the minimum pay is 900,000.
Benefits labor export has numerous positive effects on our nation's economy and society, helping to raise living conditions for many people and creating jobs. Bronya Katsime, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's look at the improving traffic flow in the capital. As according to studies, Kampala's traffic jams are reducing the productivity of the city's workforce. An average Ugandan loses between 8 to 23 hours a day in traffic jam, which impacts business owners' travel times. The commuter tax, fares, road maintenance costs, and pollution are among the other things that are affected. Now, the Infrastructure Committee charged Kampala City Council Authority with coming up with solutions to curb traffic. Let's have more with Ronan Ahawe.
An article that analyzes data from a survey of 291 drivers to look into the causes and costs of Kampala's traffic jams shows the causes including congested roads, unruly drivers, inadequate urban design, little parking, and the concentration of the majority of the commercial and social activity. With money from Japanese International Cooperation Agency, about $18 million, approximately 67 billion shillings, will be invested in the project. This is under a new design that is supposed to cover regionally, that is to say the Kampala metropolitan area, with the goal of the project to enhance traffic flow in the city.
When we come to sustainable designs, we have our overall plan, the master plan for Kampala. It's under revision right now with support from the JICA. So we are revising the master plan to meet the needs and the demands of not just the people today, but those in the future. And in there, it integrates all sectors. And this is not only going to be done for Kampala alone, we are having it done for the greater Kampala metropolitan area. So soon.
Additionally, efforts are being made to modernize the train and the bus systems, control border, and simplify the drainage systems.
I'll start with the most troublesome one, which is the border. We are trying to get that regularized and streamlined within the system. But also, we are also at a very good stage of ushering in a bus rapid transit system in Kampala. Consultant is already on board to provide the service, that is METU. So we soon will be going on to earmark the bus lanes. We come to transport, it's highly linked to the drainage system, and also trying to earmark the areas of the drainages for NMT. Like for example, you can cycle from the lakefront, wherever it is, Bugolobi or Muyenga, through the Nachivubo into the city. So we have all these ideas that are comprehensive.
Road safety and the caliber of automobiles, which are assumed to be so numerous and unnecessary on the road, are the two main focuses of this drive while discussing transportation.
We are so silent about the state of the vehicles and motorcycles on the road. I think there is a lot and urgent need. He's the only one who tried to bring it up. There is need for us not to underestimate what is on our roads. We have lots of vehicles in this country, and you wonder why some of them are even in this country. They are supposed to be obsolete and written off completely.
The article suggests a range of mitigation measures, including the construction of flyovers, enhancing the standard of other routes, and enhancing the traffic control operations. Congestion pricing is thought to have the most significant impact on traffic congestion. The article also suggests conducting an economic analysis of all policy options and ranking them according to their productivity and return on investment. It further urges collaboration and coordination among the agencies in charge of traffic control in the city and the participation of all relevant stakeholders. Ronan Ahawe, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
Now, company lawyers have been instructed to desist from causing backlogs and adjournments of electricity disputes to exploit their clients. The issue was brought up by Justice Musa Sekana during a meeting with members of the Electricity Disputes Tribunal, which he believes should be utilized rather than taking advantage of clients by filing numerous appeals which are costly. Edison Mumbere reports.
Judge Musa Sekana claims that the days of lawyers fixing deals and underbilling clients are past. He asserts that some lawyers are only out there to make money, which is unethical and displays a lack of professionalism.
You have those limitations and regulations on what the lawyer ought to do, because some lawyers just come to confuse. Some lawyers come to confuse, others come to justify their fees. A small dispute is enlarged. But there are even cases where they are willing to be, I started by giving you that example of Umeme. The lawyers for Umeme, I think they are on retainership. I don't know, whatever. That's why they've always appealed against every decision you make.
In order to provide a fair hearing as well, Judge Sekana emphasized that lawyers must begin going through the Electricity Disputes Tribunal to avoid the costs that come along with court appeals. However, a bigger population in Uganda is not aware of the tribunal.
Currently, people don't know you or don't know how tribunals operate or exist. Then the other challenge is lawyers think they will not make money if you went to a tribunal. So basically we are choking with some of the cases because the lawyers are aware, however, they prefer court. Because in court there are going to be costs and is likely to be paid more. The only active tribunal we can talk about is the tax appeals, where the courts pronounce themselves and say, no. Once a tribunal is also set up under the Constitution, all your tax disputes have to go there.
I think the main thing is that many lawyers or many people in the country are not aware. There's not been very wide sensitization that there exists a specialized court that deals with the disputes relating to the electricity sector. That was the main thing, really. But we normally, tease lawyers that when they ask for adjournments, that you are asking an adjournment, so as, you put in your bill to your client that I went to court so many times. But really, the main thing is that many lawyers and indeed the general public is not aware that there exists this specialized court. The
chairman of the tribunal, Charles Okoth, states that they have expressed issues with delayed payments from accountable officials.
Fortunately, we have not had any major case where the litigants have not complied with our orders. A problem we've had is where there is need for compensation. There's need for compensation, let's say valuation of land or property that was damaged on land. And then it is taken long for the chief government valuer to give their opinion, because the chief government valuer is really the one representing government in as far as determining values. So it's important that we take in consideration the view or opinion of the chief government valuer when determining what to compensate.
The tribunal is established under Section 93 of the Electricity Act, Chapter 145. The tribunal is to hear complaints related to power sector, which includes disputes between consumers and the public bodies charged with generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity. Edison Mumbere, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
All right, and many thanks for being part of Business Today tonight. Until tomorrow, I'm Jerome Paul Sanko with Winnie Wins and Akauchi on Sign Language. We've been coming to you live from Block 42, Nile Avenue. Good evening.